My name is Clarence Chongo, representing Financial Insight, and we are here in Kitwe at the Garden Court Hotel. It's the EUZBF Business Forum, and it's a conference for 2 days, and it's been a fantastic day today. We had the president speaking and so on, so we'll hear a little bit more about that. What I can also say to you today is that if there is one person who was special to this occasion, it will be Madam Rosetta Chabala, who I'm sitting with here, and she has been the master of ceremony today. Welcome to this interview, Madam Chabala.
Thank you very much. Not necessarily master of ceremony, actually it was called moderator.
Okay. Okay, so moderator, ladies and gentlemen, there you are. So a fantastic day today, day one of this conference, the EU Zambia Business Forum. What are the key takeaways for you today?
Well, quite a number. Remember, we've done this study for over 9 months now, and we've gone to the industry, and we've consulted widely, from the mining entities to the manufacturers and those that want to do a little bit of secular activities around the mining sector. And so the session today, this afternoon, just then brought all that to the fore in terms of what Zambia should be focusing on, in terms of what issues we should resolve for us to actually get our aspirations. We've got obviously a few aspirations. The first one is to reach the 3 million target production of copper. The second one is to add value to our copper increasingly, so that we can then beneficiate most of that copper that we have in this country before we can actually send it out.
And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that beneficiation. It's a word I keep hearing over and over again. So
yes,
please proceed.
Yes, of course. and so the session today, basically the main takeaways is, look, we cannot do it without energy. We cannot do it without skills. We cannot do it without capital. And so all those three things are things that the panelists actually pointed out to ensure that if all those were touched and tackled in a manner that allows then production to be ramped up, then maybe we'll be close to achieving our goal.
Absolutely. And obviously, the president gave a phenomenal speech today. Everybody who attended the speech session with the president has come up with very high praise for him. Yeah. What were the key takeaways for you from what the president had to share with this conference?
Well, he also was very direct and very deliberate in the way he delivered today's speech. And he was very categorical. He also repeated the fact that we obviously aspire to add value. He also said and emphasized on the need for joint ventures, for example, a message that we have been yearning to hear, because many a times you hear come and invest in Zambia, we've got this and we've got that. But I think the narrative is changing to say we've got actually people who are local investors, who may have a gap here and there, so come and work with them so that we can then scale up their businesses and ideas already that are local ideas. And that was very important to deliver from the presidential perspective, to say we want the people of Zambia to participate.
Absolutely. We
do not want this so-called beneficiation to just be all foreign. People come, they add value and they take out. We want most of that value to also remain, and that will only happen in the partnerships.
Absolutely.
Of course, it will happen in the job creation, but we want Zambians to have a bigger stake, a bigger say, and a bigger negotiating power in this process. I think that was a very key message.
Indeed. For me, specifically, it's about technology and making sure it's the high-level technology, cutting-edge, state-of-the-art, and it's been interesting to see that there's some foreign universities that are coming and bringing that knowledge into Zambia in order to create opportunities for this buzzword again, beneficiation. So can you articulate what that means to the Zambian people, or what it should mean? What should beneficiation look like for the ordinary Zambian out there?
So maybe to just put it into perspective and getting maybe 2021, 2022 numbers, where we produced 800,000 tons of copper in this country.
Indeed.
Out of that, only about 350,000 tons of copper was added value to at the level of copper cathode. The rest of it went below cathode. And out of the 350,000 tons of cathode, we only added more value to like 15,000 tons of copper, which is less than 5% of the total cathode produced in this country, to a standard that obviously you'll put it in one cable. But if you look at the overall ore that was extracted from the ground, it's less than 2%. So really 60 years down the line, should we actually be adding value to 2% of copper in this country? So this song of beneficiation basically is about how much more value can we get. And how much more value you can get is only when you go downstream. You have to keep adding value for you to keep, and that's why it's called adding value. Anyway, it's not just adding value because the product has transformed. In the transformation of the product, there's a lot of things happening. And so that is the overall economic value that we want to actually then take out of the mineral that we already have. So if, say, in the next 10 years, our target was even to beneficiate to 20%, we will actually be almost there.
It would be a transformed economy.
It was going to be a transformed economy without really anybody questioning, because what we have lost in terms of value, when from the ore to just about cathode, for example, you already are adding value to how much you're going to sell it at. Because then you're now selling it at LME, even plus premium. Beyond the cathode to the copper wire that you see, you have another $200 or so to $400 added per ton of copper in terms of value. So if only we could go then up the chain and keep adding these fewer dollars up the channel, then obviously Zambia
So
will transform.
let's zoom in on that a little bit, okay? Because what I would like for the ordinary Zambian out there to understand is what we mean by adding value and what that looks like to them. So we've talked about, what should happen downstream. I've asked this question before of another panel, and perhaps I should pose it to you now. What industries, what kind of businesses, what kind of products do you envision Zambians should be seeing downstream?
So we already have only one sector in the value addition for copper, which is wire and cable. Currently we have about 4 companies adding value. I hear there's a 5th one coming up the line. But we only have currently 4 companies that are doing the same products. The building wire that you see, the copper rod, and armored cables and stuff like that. But we've concentrated for so many years in just one, what I would call one product. It's wire and cable. Obviously, it has various products in it. But you can do copper pipes. You can do copper sheets. I understand there's a company called Mega Million that is going to do copper foil. Which is actually one of the inputs in the EV battery.
Electric vehicles.
Yes,
absolutely.
You need the foil there.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of other things, high-tech things that would then even go into our electronics and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So even just if you talked about wire, we can draw wire thinner than even what we are making now. That would go into our cell phones, for example. That would go into your radios and stuff like that. We are not doing all that.
Yeah.
So there's seriously another whole spectrum of copper products that we can manufacture locally and send it out there wherever it is being used. Remember, all we have done over the years is shift that production to another
Absolutely.
country.
We
so the moment we say we will not export to you the raw material, we will actually force those people that add value from wherever they're adding value to come and add value
to set up businesses.
Because then they
locally.
can link them within their own value chains. Let's say, for example, it's electric cars. And we say, all we're going to do is we're going to make a ABCD wire or this whatever it is that goes in these batteries or goes in the electric cars. And we're not going to export cathode or anything else. What does that do to the Nestlers? What does that do to the guys in China that are doing electric vehicles? They set up ship here.
Absolutely.
In terms of just that component of value addition, and ship it to themselves and input it in their cars.
Yeah.
That's exactly how you then shift production back. Botswana did it. Botswana next door said, we're not going to send unpolished diamonds. You will polish it here. And polishers, including the mines themselves, have now started polishing within Botswana.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And in terms of value, they said, you'll give us 50%. And I didn't hear anybody leave. So we actually can do it. There's more that we can do to cover that.
Shouldn't we be thinking on a grander scale, though? Why don't those Chinese and whomsoever come and set up their vehicle manufacturing companies here so that, you know, the finished products go into a finished car in Zambia? That's what I would like to see. What do you think about that?
I think currently it's a market issue.
Okay.
But even if I say it's a market issue, it's still so short term. We will transition obviously to electric vehicles and stuff like that. Currently there's no market here. So to ship a whole car back to China, which is very heavy, is much more costly than to actually just ship a component of it.
Okay.
So start from the components.
Okay.
And when there is enough market within Africa and within Zambia, then it justifies some of that kind of investment.
So perhaps we should be focusing on developing those markets.
Exactly.
And then, you know, we can have iPhones being manufactured in Zambia. I would love to see something like that.
I saw we used to have one company that started. Of course, they were just bringing in components here and there, but we've tried it before.
Indeed.
Why not? Why shouldn't we try it at the next time?
Absolutely. So the future is bright because obviously copper is not the only thing that Zambia mines. We've got cobalt, we've got all sorts of other minerals, emeralds, etc., precious stones. So the base is quite wide in terms of the possibilities out there. Okay, let's tone it down a little. So this was day one, and tomorrow is another whole day. What activities are you involved in tomorrow?
So tomorrow we then now present the report from the consultants. So the first session actually is in parallel and basically is focusing on parts of the report. So we will then have one session that will focus on the upstream, and when I say upstream, I mean just the mining sector.
Digging
and the level at which, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then we'll have another session that will look at circular economy, and there's some like 6 opportunities that we have actually identified.
What does that mean, circular economy?
So it's both recycling and also trying to obviously reduce some waste. So for example, the mines have dumps, they've got tailings, they've got all those. Can somebody actually go back in there and recycle those things and extract copper and bring it back into production of cathode, for example, which we can then use for the downstream.
So those are the discussions?
Those are the discussions that are going to happen, and the third one is going to be downstream, which is basically the manufacturing. So very interesting parallel sessions. I will be involved in the manufacturing one.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then of course on day 3, I'm told that there will be site visits. Are you actually visiting any sites yourself?
Yes, I'll be leading the group that is going to go to the manufacturers. So we will start with Jubilee Metals giving a presentation right here to all the delegates before they leave for their field visits. And then we will take the manufacturers, those who are interested in the manufacturing subject, we will take them to Zamepa in Wansha so that they can see the plant, they can see what we're doing right now, and then we'll also take them to Neocamp in Masaiti.
Indeed. So it's been a busy day and looks like it's going to be a busy week for you.
It's a busy week. It's a busy week.
But it's been such a pleasure talking to you, Madam Chabala. Always a pleasure. We look forward to more sessions like this with you again in the future. Thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Clarence, and thank you for having me here. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This is Rosetta Chabala. She's been a moderator for some panel discussions at this conference. It's the EUZBF Business Forum, and it's Financial Insight, and it's Clarence Chongo. Thank you very much, and get to know.